Because, di ba, in the new normal of learning, it has to be considered kung paano natin ma-engage ang ating mga estudyante in a more effective and better way. And I hope that this session will really provide insights into how we can do that. And of course, ano rin siya, para siyang complementary sa mga natutunan na natin in the previous days of this ReFLEX initiative by CHED Region 10. So before anything else, no, I'll just love to go over the sessions, or basically the part of my session for this morning, to give you an idea of what I will be covering for all of us this morning. So number one, pag-uusapan po natin yung active learning strategies in online presentations. Kung how can we involve our students while we're delivering our lectures or discussions online. Number two is I will be teaching you kung paano i-record ang ating mga sarili na habang dinideliver ang ating mga discussions, ating mga lectures, and I'll also teach you how we can add subtitles and narrations to our presentations or PowerPoint presentations. And number three is I will give you my tips, yung tips na ginagawa ko on how we can create effective or what we call rockstar presentations for Gen Z. So I hope you really can tune in and bring your notebooks with you, take notes, because it will be fun. And I hope you guys will join with me. Okay? So first is, I want us to interact. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na hindi lamang ako yung laging magsasalita. I also want to hear from you. So this time, I want us to interact. So this interaction will happen by just getting your phone. If you're watching using your laptop, you can also use your laptop. If you're using your phone to watch this live stream, you can also use your phone. So what I want you to do is to go to www.menti.com, and then you will be asked a code once you're already on that site, and then use the code na inyong nakikita sa screen. It's 16437. And please answer my interaction question wherein please describe the new normal in learning and teaching in 3 words. So tatlong mga salita po, describe the new normal in learning in 3 words. So I will give you 2 minutes to do that. And after 2 minutes, alamin natin kung ano yung mga insights ninyo as to how you guys describe the new normal in teaching and learning. Yes po, ganon. So please get your phones or laptops and go to menti.com and use the code 16437. So timer starts now. Ayan, now let's see some of your responses, no, kung what you guys think about the new normal. Let's see kung ano yung mga sagot ninyo, no? So let's see, no? I will be sharing now the screen. Ayan. So we're already seeing your responses. So what we're seeing here is you guys think that in the new normal of teaching and learning, it is challenging. I think you all agree on that, no? You guys can see na there are already 96 of your responses coming in, and makikita natin na si challenging is the word na marami yung sumasagot, at nagbabago po yung ating tawag nito, nagbabago ang ating dynamics, nagbabago po yung mga response, but nevertheless, challenging yung sagot ng karamihan sa atin. 118 responses coming in. Please do keep coming. Please have them coming in. And some of you think that the new learning is exciting. Yeah, very good. And also others also said na it's innovative. Tamang-tama po kasi I am sure na for some of us, it's a very new approach, new strategy na dapat nating i-apply sa ating mga teaching styles. Okay? Meron ding nagsasabi na ano ba, difficult, okay, difficult. Meron ding modular, merong distance, merong less participation, merong dynamic. There's some say that it's expensive, technology, flexible, exciting, innovative. But nevertheless, friends, I think we all can agree that all of us, well, most of us, if not all, 141 responses agree that indeed the new normal in teaching and learning is challenging. But what is important is that we don't give up. We don't, para bang, hindi tayo susuko in the face of this kind of new learning. Because for me, more than anything else, this may be a new approach to all of us, but this offers us a new set of learning, and we will come up stronger than ever after this kind of new normal. Masasanay din tayo, ano lang, tiyaga lang, and then, ano talaga, parang patience yung kailangan natin on how we can better overcome or better succeed and survive in the new normal of teaching and learning. So I'll have more activities like this later on. So please still really stay tuned, stick around, because later on, marami pang exciting things ang ating pag-uusapan. Okay? So let's see. Okay, so while we're still, para bang, while your responses are coming, I am very happy that indeed you have participated in this activity. O, yan, tapos na po yung time. Okay, so, ayan, okay. Okay, sure. So now that we guys have get to know what you guys think about the new normal in teaching and learning, ngayon naman, pag-usapan natin yung active learning strategies, especially on online learning or when we're delivering online presentations. Kasi I like to believe na in the new normal of teaching and learning, what is one of the more important things that we need to consider is our strategy or our engagement or participation strategy. Kasi nasanay tayo before in the old normal na we just face-to-face kaharap natin yung mga estudyante natin. So we give instructions and then malalaman natin if nakuha ba nila yon yung instructions na binigay natin, para makikita natin yung non-verbal communication cues nila, yung reactions nila, and then all these things. But in the new normal, kaharap natin laptop screens, computer screens, ating mga cellphones or tablets, and napakahirap i-gauge yung participation or yung level of understanding ng ating mga estudyante. Kaya sobrang laking tulong na in the previous days of this ReFLEX activity ay napag-usapan na on how our students can better be engaged through set of activities. So this morning, I will be sharing with you the things I've been doing in terms of active learning strategies in online learning and presentations. And I hope that your pens and notebooks are ready and ready to take note, okay? So the first step that I can give you is to really encourage student participation. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Every time that you are delivering your presentation, always make it a point that you are not the center of the presentation alone, but rather the center should be your students. Bilang sila yung nakikinig sa atin, let's have them the star of the presentation or of the lecture. Meaning to say, we give examples that they can relate. We always mention them in terms of what they're experiencing on a daily basis of probably in the new normal. You know, these things actually encourage student participation kasi yung mga estudyante magkakaroon sila ng feeling na of introspection. For example, masasabi ng student na, "Uy, si sir, iniisip pa rin pala talaga kami after all these things," because the examples are very relatable and something that everybody can, you know, identify themselves with. So that is number one, encourage student participation. Number two, friends, is to ask questions that stimulate discussions. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Every time that we are delivering our lectures online, we have to think ano yung question that everybody will be excited to answer. Yun yung dapat nating itanong sa ating mga sarili. Ano yung mga katanungan, ano yung mga linya, statements, or tawag nito, probing questions kung saan magagamit ng mga estudyante ang kanilang mga pag-iisip, kanilang creativity in terms of answering that question. Let's stimulate the mental capabilities of our students while delivering our online presentations. Other example can be, before you begin your lecture, pwede mo silang tanungin na, masarap ba yung ulam mo kaninang umaga? That alone, masasabi nila they would be able to go back to their breakfast and answer kung masarap nga ba. And that's actually one good point of discussion there because we get to meet halfway, parang leveling off tayo, kumbaga. Di ba kung meron tayong program, meron tayong tinatawag na di ba parang getting to know you activity. So parang in the online learning or presentations, yun yung parang parang equivalent somehow. So ask questions na makakapag-stimulate ng discussion between us and of course our students. So this is very good in terms of para bang synchronous sessions when we're delivering our presentations live na live. Number 3 active learning strategy that we can give you is to set up a work group environment. Okay, so bakit ito mahalaga? Because in the new normal, hindi na ganun kadali ang pagbibigay ng mga activities or group activities sa ating mga estudyante wherein we can just say na, oy, student A, student B, magka-group kayo. But in the new normal, hindi na po ganun kadali. So as much as possible, let us always incorporate work activities that our students can actually work on together, even though the context or the modality is online learning. There's a lot of platforms available. For example, you can have activities using Google Word, Google Documents, diba? So for example, you can have, okay, class, you please contribute your ideas on using the Google document file that we have. So doon makikita mo na students actually are working together, contributing with each other in terms of their idea about a specific topic that you are tasking them to work on. So that's number 3. And number 4, eto, use attention-holding teaching aids. So I am sure, friends, na maraming pumapasok sa ating mga isipan once we talk about attention-holding teaching aids. It can be a video, it can be the use of photos, or graphics, or animations, and all these things. And you just really have to be creative and resourceful. Kasi in the new normal, tandaan natin na yung attention span ng ating mga mag-aaral, ating mga estudyante, ay hindi na ganon kadaling hawakan. Ibig sabihin, it is more challenging to grab the attention of our students online because everything is at the tip of their fingers. Ibig sabihin, if you don't get to grab their attention in the first place right then and there in the online learning, chances are gagamitin nila yung mga cellphones nila, mag-Facebook sila, mag-Twitter, and do other things that should not be done while you are delivering your online presentations. Say, for example, synchronously. So it is very important na yung resource materials natin bilang guro or bilang teachers ay effective and more importantly, something that would really para bang catch the attention of our students, although online yung modality natin. And number 5 na active learning strategy that I can offer or I can give you is involve yourself as the instructor. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Ito yung aspect wherein every time that we are delivering a lecture or a presentation online, we have to make sure that we are in the process of delivering that. Bakit? Our students would appreciate it if in the process of them learning online, masasabi nila na, oy, I can feel or I can see the element of ma'am or sir in this presentation. Why should we involve ourselves as instructor in the new normal of teaching delivery or learning delivery? Because that is only one of the few ways that we can make our presence felt by our to our student. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? If you are delivering a lecture, show yourself, show your camera, don't mute yourself every time you have a call with your students. That's another. And another is incorporate stories that your students can relate. Kasi meron mga iba sa atin na famous sa ating mga estudyante for cracking jokes, for sharing life stories. And actually, there's never a wrong thing, or it's not wrong to still share stories in the online learning. In fact, mas ma-appreciate yan ng mga estudyante because they would think na, ma'am or sir, despite the new normal, never failed to really share the things or do the things na nakasanayan natin in the old normal. So, yun, involve yourself as the instructor every time you deliver online presentations. So let's have a recap of the 5 strategies, active learning strategies that I have just shared with you. Number 1 is to encourage student participation. Ask questions that stimulate discussions. Number 3 is set up tayo ng mga work group environment, no? Number 4 is gumamit tayo ng attention-holding teaching aids. And lastly, let's involve ourselves as the instructor in the delivery of our lectures or discussions. Now, sa limang active learning strategies na yan, let us try to focus or dig deeper into the 4th online active learning strategy, which is attention-holding teaching aids. Okay, why do we need to focus on this one? Because sobrang challenging, sobrang dynamic ng online learning because yun nga, online, ang daming pwedeng mangyari online. There are many things that are over and beyond our control. And I am sure that as we talk about attention-holding teaching aids, one of the things or one of the first things na pumapasok sa ating mga isipan once we come across this active learning strategy is, I'm sure what you guys think, this is a PowerPoint presentation. So, yes po, tama. A PowerPoint presentation is one of the very effective tools that us teachers can use in delivering our lectures. If in the old normal, nakasanayan natin to use PowerPoint to deliver lectures, not on a daily basis, but in the new normal, the PowerPoint presentation should become more of our best friend, go-to friend na pwede natin gamitin. But later on, I will tell you some reminders, the things that should be done and the things that should not be done while we are using PowerPoint presentation. So that's it. So another thing that I want us to do is, diba, if kanina I asked you about what you guys think or how you guys would describe the new normal in learning in terms of the teaching and learning in the new normal. This time, let's interact once more. So again, go to menti.com, get your phones or your laptop, and use the code. Bagong code na po ito, guys. Just reload your browser. Use the code on screen, and then I want you to rate rather your familiarity with the MS PowerPoint software. So in a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, please rate your familiarity with the MS PowerPoint software. So I'll still give you 2 minutes to do that, and 2 minutes starts now. Go. Ayan, just keep your responses coming. Tignan natin kung ano na yung mga responses ninyo, no? So let's see, no? Let's see kung ano na yung mga responses ng ating mga kasamahan in the region or even some of our friends across the country who are tuning in with us this morning. Tignan natin kung ano na yung mga naisagot ninyo, ano? Okay, let's see. Okay, wait. This is from Kenina, no? Okay, so here. Ayan, so we're already seeing responses from all of you guys. There are already 114 responses that came in. Tignan natin. Some are answering that they are, tignan natin, no? Okay. 56 of you saying na you guys are familiar, level 4 yung level of familiarity ninyo. Meron ding iba na nagsasabing level 5, very good. Meron ding iba na level 3, okay, very good. And I think out of 146, 48 responses that come in, 68 are saying na level 4 yung familiarity nila sa MS PowerPoint na platform. So let's wait for some more and then let's try to synthesize what you guys think or what you guys how you guys would rate yourself in terms of using the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, let's see. So there are already 75 of you saying na level 4 po yung inyong mga rating sa inyong mga sarili in terms of using the Microsoft PowerPoint software. Ayan, no, very exciting, no? You can actually do this online when you're delivering your lecture, friends. This is one of the activities where you can engage your students despite online learning or in the new normal of teaching and learning. So there are already 81 responses for level 4, 39 saying na level 5 yung level of familiarity nila, and then 53 yung say na number 3, so parang nasa middle lang sila, no? Okay, 84, dumadami talaga yung nagsasabi that they're level 4 in terms of using the PowerPoint, MS PowerPoint. So thank you so much for participating sa activity na yan. So I think it's very good. It's also important for me na malaman ko kung how you guys are rating yourselves in terms of using the MS PowerPoint para ma-assess ko rin kung how deep or how detailed should I get as we discuss the following slides, because now we're going to talk about the PowerPoint presentations. Okay, so I think in order for us to really build on our knowledge on the MS PowerPoint, let's have a review of the MS PowerPoint interface. For some, this may be a review. For others, this is a new thing to learn. So let's get to know kung ano nga ba yung parts of an MS PowerPoint so that next time around, alam natin how to call a particular button. We will know where to find this tool, which part of the interface should we go, should we click, and should we navigate through para makita or ma-perform ang isang action on the MS PowerPoint na platform or software. Okay, let's start. The first part that I want us to remember or want to know about is ito. This is what you call the backstage view. So, just like any other, like parang concert, diba? Parang the backstage view in MS PowerPoint allows us to set the setting on how we would like to start our PowerPoint presentation. Would you like or would we like na start from scratch or blank document? Or gusto ba natin gumamit ng templates na available on the MS PowerPoint? Or gusto ba nating buksan yung mga previous PowerPoints natin na ating nagawa na or modify other templates that we already have? So this is the backstage view. So every time na bubuksan natin yung MS PowerPoint na software, ito yung unang lumalabas. This is what you call the backstage view. Guys, I want you to to take note because at the end of my session, meron akong short Q&A activity for all of you, and I'm sure you will be excited about that. So that's the later part of my presentation. So do stick around. So the next part that I want us to know is this one. Here's what you see. Dito mo makikita yung autosave, yung undo buttons, the save buttons, and I'm sure nakikita ito sa upper left, tama ba? Upper left of the MS PowerPoint interface. And ito yung tinatawag na the quick access toolbar. Bakit siya quick access toolbar? Because it simply means na yung mga tools na ito yung mga frequently used tools as we use the MS PowerPoint software. What is the implication, or what does the quick access toolbar tell us? It tells us that the quick access toolbar is a modifiable toolbar. Ibig sabihin, we can change the content, or we can change what we want to appear in that toolbar. And I think there are a maximum of 7 or 8 toolbars that can be shown on that part. So guys, that's what you call the quick access toolbar, okay? Next part is this one. I'm sure ito yung pinaka-familiar sa ating lahat, no? Dito natin nakikita yung mga font size, like all the buttons that are necessary for us to add life to our presentation. So this is what we call the ribbon. Bakit siya tinatawag na ribbon? Kasi, di ba parang gift lang yan. Diba kung bibigyan tayo ng gift, di ba of course merong ribbon yan. And ginagamit natin yung ribbon para mabuksan at malaman natin kung ano yung laman ng gift. So in the same way, that's the same analogy na ginamit sa MS PowerPoint. The ribbon is where you can find all the things that you can use, or all the tools and commands or actions that you can use to add, or to add life to your PowerPoint presentation para bigyan siya ng buhay at bigyan siya ng kulay. So that is what you call the ribbon and the MS PowerPoint software. Okay? I hope you guys are still following with me. The next part is this one. So you can find this in the left side of the MS PowerPoint screen. This is what you call the slides pane. So dito natin makikita yung maliliit na, well, not really maliliit, but the smaller versions of the slides that we have been working on, or that we are yet to work on, para makikita natin dito yung parang sa malayuan how much data have we been placing on our slides, no? And then it's actually a very good help na from time to time mag-scroll through tayo, mag-navigate tayo sa ating slides pane, dahil dito natin malalaman in terms of how pale or how boring our presentation is, or how exciting it's already becoming as we're working on our PowerPoint. So that's what you call the slides pane in our MS PowerPoint software. The next part is this one. This is what you call the slide area. Ano yung slide area? Ito yung parang canvas natin if we are painters or if we are artists. Ito yung canvas natin. Dito natin makikita, this is where we see the magic that happens as we use the PowerPoint. If we want to add a picture, to add a text, to add an animation, dito natin makikita yung effect nung actions that we're doing sa ating mga PowerPoint presentation. So, this is yung parang ito bang mirror mo, ito yung tawag na reference point mo as to how you are doing in terms of working on your MS PowerPoint slides. Okay? And the last few parts, or parts and functions is this one. Ito yung makikita sa pinakababa na proportion, no, sa lower part of the MS PowerPoint interface. This is what you call the status bar. So, very understandable. The status bar indicates how many pages na po meron ng inyong MS PowerPoint, ilan na ba, ano yung language na inyong ginagamit, and then makikita nyo rin yung zoom, level of zoom, or yung rate of zoom ninyo sa inyong slide area. And more importantly, dito din makikita quick commands in terms of showing your PowerPoint as presentation, or show as presenter, and all these things. So ito yung tinatawag na status bar sa bottom part of your MS PowerPoint screen or interface. So, okay. Next part is this one. Ito yung tinatawag ng the notes pane. Okay. I'm establishing so much on the notes pane because ito yung magiging natin para bang kaagapay in terms of delivering our lectures online. So, instead of putting all the text on the PowerPoint slide, which I'm sure some of you or some of us ay nakasanayan na in the past, let us use notes pane to place the text or the discussion points that we would rather speak than read by our students. So gamitin natin yung notes pane instead of putting all the text on the slides area. No? So that's the notes pane is really helpful, especially once we are delivering asynchronous session sa ating mga lectures or discussion. So that is the notes pane, guys. And I hope you guys remember that. And the last part is the mini toolbar. So, the mini toolbar, kung kanina meron tayong quick access toolbar, and then meron tayong ribbon, the mini toolbar, mini, meaning to say, ano siya, parang every time na you highlight a word, or you hover, or itutok mo yung mouse sa isang word, yes, word, or element in the MS PowerPoint slide, lalabas itong mini toolbar. Ibig sabihin, these tools are the quickest or the most frequently used tools that we can use. Especially, for example, mag-highlight kayo ng text. Instead of going past a ribbon and change the fonts and colors, lalabas itong mini toolbar para dun mo na ma-perform right then and there without hovering so much of your mouse to somewhere in the screen yung mga necessary or the basic commands or changes that you want to add on to your slide. So this is the mini toolbar. So that's pretty much it, the basic parts and function of the MS PowerPoint na interface. And I hope no na that was clear and that was ano for you, para bang helpful, because it's very important na every time we use PowerPoint, we are learned, we are aware as to what we call this part, what's the function of this part, and so on and so forth. So that's the basic parts and functions of the MS PowerPoint software or interface. Next one is, let's proceed to something that is of equal importance to all of us teachers. Kasi, di ba, in the new normal, time is of importance. Time is of essence now more than ever. So let's try to know and apply basic keyboard shortcuts. So ano ito? Ito yung mga 'di ba, if nakasanayan na natin na to save, we still use our mouse to save. But with the basic keyboard shortcuts, we can perform immediate actions or quickly done actions using our keyboards para hindi na masyadong challenging na, alam mo na yun, parang magamit pa yung mga daliri natin to hover the mouse and all these things. So these are basic keyboard shortcuts that I suggest we remember and apply moving forward. So the number one is, if you want to copy, instead of right-clicking pa kung ano yung mga, di ba, right-clicking pa sa picture or sa text to copy it, just instead press Control. So it's on your keyboard, Control or CTRL plus C. Yung plus, friends, wag na, hindi yung literal na plus na itatype mo pa yung plus. But as you press the CTRL or Control, you also press the letter C on your keyboard. So magkalapit lang yan sila. So that already copies the element or the text or the picture that you want to be copied. Okay? So of course, kung merong copy, meron ding paste. Yung paste, ito yung instead of mag-right click pa tayo para ma-paste ang isang element, we just press Control or CTRL V and then magpe-paste ang element na ating kinopy. Ang element na ating ikinopy. So next is undo. Ano yung undo? Ang undo is basically kung nakapag-delete ka ng isang picture or text pero hindi naman pala dapat siya ma-delete. So instead na i-attach ulit natin yung picture, insert ulit natin yung picture, the better way to do it is to just undo the action. So the command to do that is Control Z. So, ibig sabihin, pag na-delete siya, then you press Ctrl-Z, babalik ulit yung element na na-delete mo accidentally. Okay? Kung merong undo, meron din, of course, redo. So, ano yung redo naman, friends? Yung redo, for example, nag-copy-paste ka ng isang picture, pero gusto mo na yung picture na yan ay marami or ma-fill yung screen mo in small sizes. So instead of manually copying and pasting the picture, which would take time, we just do a redo button. So this is how you do it. So you copy the picture, so CTRL-C, and then CTRL-V. So na-paste na siya. Then since you want to multiply the picture in the screen, you just press instead CTRL-Y, and then as many as you want, depending on how many of the pictures you want to be duplicated or replicated in the screen. So that is the functionality of how you use a redo command or button in the MS PowerPoint. Next command or shortcut is to embolden. If you want na maging bold yung text mo, di ba, usually hina-highlight pa natin siya, and then we go to the ribbon, to the home ribbon, and then you click the B or the P, embolden. So instead of doing that and hovering our cursor, just perform this keyboard shortcut, Control plus B, and then your text will automatically embolden. Okay? The next one is to italicize. So kung gusto mo yung patagilid, yung italics, yung ano mo, yung text mo, especially we usually use embolden and italicize if we want to emphasize, diba? So you can actually perform the CTRL-I na button po. Okay? So next is to underline. So underlining in PowerPoint presentation can be done using our keyboard, just from the convenience of our keyboard, okay? So you just perform the CTRL plus U, and the text that you have highlighted will be underlined. So that's very easy. And the last command that I want us to apply, moving forward, especially that gagamit na tayo ng PowerPoint, is eto, to save. Like, di ba, if before nakasanayan natin, napupunta pa tayo sa file ribbon, and then click save or save as, but we can actually do so just from the comfort of our keyboard. So you just press Control and S. Control plus S will save your file from time to time. So this is, by the way, then friends, na this is a suggestion from me. So every time you're working on a PowerPoint presentation, every 10 minutes, you may choose to save it if hindi naka-enable yung auto-save ninyo, so that ma-avoid natin na, for example, mag-crash yung PowerPoint sa ating mga laptops or computers. Hindi tayo iiyak kasi nawala yung ating mga nasimulan. So from time to time, it's really good na i-save natin yung ating presentation as we are working on it. So those, basically, we've covered the basic PowerPoint parts and functions, and then the basic keyboard shortcuts. So those are very good para bang mood setters or contextualizers, because in Microsoft PowerPoint, there are a lot of things na pwede natin gawin as teachers to really make our online learning or online presentations more engaging, more effective, and more interactive. So those are the things that I hope you will remember moving forward, because the next thing that we'll talk about, since natin napag-usapan na yung basic parts of PowerPoint and the basic keyboard shortcuts, pag-uusapan naman natin ngayon eto. So on involving ourselves as the instructor, I will be presenting tatlong to-do tips or mga bagay na pwede at dapat natin gawin in PowerPoint and the new normal. So ano yung nito? Parang ano yung rationale why we can do these things? Simply because diba, this is active learning strategy number 5, diba? Involve yourself as the instructor. How can we do that? We can do that by really incorporating the element of us as teachers in the PowerPoint presentation. Without anything else, let's proceed to the first to-do tip or to-do task that we can perform or we can do to make our presentations better and more engaging. Number 1 is adding narration to your PowerPoint presentation. Ano yung narration? Very understandable. 'Di ba, kung sanay tayo na nagpapa-role play tayo sa ating mga estudyante in the old normal, and then of course merong narration, merong estudyante who will do the narration, 'di ba? In the new normal, tayo yung gagawa ng narration sa ating mga topics. What is the importance of adding narration? This is particularly important if gusto mo na yung PowerPoint presentation mo ay mai-distribute sa iyong mga estudyante, 'di ba? So if you want them to learn asynchronously and gusto mo lang na access nila yung PowerPoint mo anytime they want within a particular period of time. You really can add narration. And every time they open your file and they play it, as the slides will show, your narration will also play that correspond to that particular slide. So that's very easy to do because I will be sharing with you the steps, the specific steps na dapat ninyong gawin if you want to add narration to your PowerPoint presentation. Number one, the first step that you guys need to perform is, of course, ensure muna ninyo na ready na ang inyong material. And by material, I mean to say, it can be your slides, dapat tapos na. And then script, if you may want to use a script para mas madali sa inyo yung pag-narrate, mas maganda at mas mabuti para it works well. If it works well to your advantage, then do and prepare a script. So just really make sure that your material is prepared or finalized before you begin adding your narration. So the second step is in the slideshow ribbon, in the ribbon in the MS PowerPoint interface, click nyo yung slideshow na ribbon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ika-7 siya na ribbon sa itaas. And then if you click that one, lalabas ang ito yung parang content or the ribbon part. So lalabas yung options na ito, the play from the start, everything that you see on the screen. And now since we want na mag-add tayo ng narration ng ating boses in the PowerPoint presentation, click ninyo yung record slideshow, yung naka-highlight in red or naka-boxed in red. So that is what you need to click if you want to record a narration for your presentation in PowerPoint. Okay? The fourth steps is pag na-click mo na yan siya, ito yung lalabas. Ito yung screen na to in black. Lalabas yan siya, meaning to say, naka-presenter view na siya. Okay, once it is in presenter view, lalabas na dito yung notes. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na if you guys will really make use of the notes, mag-add kayo ng lines that you want uttered or discussed or things that you want to mention during the lecture or discussion proper, dito lalabas yung lines na iyon. And then you can use them side by side as you are delivering your narration. So going back, pag lalabas na yung screen na ito, mag-start na yung timer. Yung timer dyan nasa itaas, naka-box in red, that already means that you can begin talking. Okay? Pag nag-start na siya, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth, you begin talking your narration. Because MS PowerPoint will record anything, any voice that it captures or yes, that it captures from you as the user. So that's how you, very easy guys, no? That's how you record or yes, record or add narration into your PowerPoint. The next is, pagtapos ka na sa inyong narration, pag you've already narrated all slides in your PowerPoint, you have to end show or you press escape on your keyboard. So it's the uppermost leftmost part of your keyboard. You press escape to save your narration. But before doing that, and then while you are, by the way, delivering your narration, this is just a reminder, no, from someone who's been doing narrations sa presentation na every time you record your narration, hindi nagre-record si PowerPoint every time an animation or a transition takes place. So for example, slide number 1, and then nag-transition nag-animation si text A to text B. So in between the animation for text B to appear, walang recording na nagaganap. So what does this mean? What do I mean to tell you about with this? Every time you have narration or transition, as they are shown on PowerPoint presentation, do not speak anything dahil hindi lang mare-record or that part will not be recorded by PowerPoint. So that's how you can better do it. Okay, para hindi siya parang kung Bisaya pa dili putol-putol ang imuhang narration na part. Okay, so once you are already finished, you will then be prompted with this dialog box and then asking you your narration consume this particular amount of time, and then you will be asked kung do you want to save your timings or not. If you know, then you can redo it. Then if you're already good with what you have narrated, then you click save. Now, once you've already saved it and you want to listen to it, you have to go back to the slideshow ribbon and you click play from the start or play from the current slide. And then this will serve as your playback button. And then you get to listen to the things that you've mentioned in your narration. So you will then hear how you guys mention things or how you guys uttered words, how you pronounced words, and how clear you probably may be as you are delivering your narration. So it's very important, friends, na as we're delivering our narration, we don't become very verbose. We only say the words that we need to say para hindi siya waste of, I mean, hindi naman siya waste of time, but so that it becomes more direct and more effective for our students. Okay, so we only say what we want our students to learn and hear from us. Okay, now that if you are very good na, I mean, if you're good with your narration, you now want to save, diba? Kasi kung plano mong i-distribute yung presentation mo sa inyong mga estudyante, of course, i-distribute mo na siya. So before we distribute, save muna natin. How do we save our presentation na nakalagay na iyong ano natin, yung narration natin na part. So this is how you do it. So to save your narration, click the file ribbon, and then once you are already in the file ribbon, you click the save as. Remember this, friends, you need to click save as rather than just save. Bakit? Kasi you need to save it as PowerPoint show. Remember, PowerPoint show, not PowerPoint presentation. Ano yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa, ng PowerPoint show and PowerPoint presentation? A PowerPoint presentation, if i-distribute mo siya sa iyong estudyante, it becomes editable. They can change the content of your slides. But if you just want it na they will open it and then it will play and then your narration will play as well, you need to save it as PowerPoint show. Ano yung mangyayari if PowerPoint show? Yung file extension will be .ppsx, and pag na-save na siya and then ma-distribute mo na siya, once your students open it, hindi bubukas yung entire na, like for example, the slides pane, the slides panel, hindi yun yung lalabas. But rather, yung lalabas is just really the presentation of your slides with your narration at the background. So you really need to save it as PowerPoint show. That's if you don't want your students to edit your slides later on. Okay? So that's actually how you perform adding narration. So in a nutshell, let's just go over what we've discussed, the specific steps on how do we add narration. So you make sure that your material is ready. You go to the slideshow ribbon, record slideshow, you begin talking. Then once you're done, you end your show or press escape. Then you can play back. And then if you're already happy with your narration, then you save your file as PowerPoint show. Okay, now, you may just take picture of this or screenshot para mas madali ninyong, for our friends watching on Facebook, you may take a screenshot of this para mas madali ninyong ma-remember. Now that we've mentioned how to add narration to our PowerPoint presentation, alamin natin yung best practices in narration. What do we need to remember, or what do we need to do and to remember once we are doing or adding narrations to our PowerPoint presentation? The best practice that I can give you really is to record in a noise-free environment. Ano ibig sabihin? Do not record na nasa labas ka. Huwag kang mag-record na nasa living room ka at kasama mo yung mga family members. Huwag kang mag-record na nasa restaurant. Huwag kang mag-record ng nasa probably coffee shop or anywhere na maingay. Kasi maka-capture or mare-record din yung mga noise at the backdrop ni PowerPoint. Ano yung magiging implication? Hindi magiging klaro, or if hindi man magiging klaro, ay distracting for the students as they will listen to your narration. So you really record in a noise-free environment. If you can record inside your car, you can do that because actually that's the closest resemblance to a studio, inside a car. You may also record inside your room, and make sure lang na hindi masyadong malakas yung electric fan or aircon kasi masasali yon sa recording, no? And then, yun, if you may use a headset, a noise-canceling headphones, do use it. It will really help you to record a very clear audio. Okay, next part is to keep a stable pacing. Anong ibig sabihin? Huwag magsalita ng sobrang bagal, huwag din sobrang bilis. Tama lang, timplahin ninyo yung inyong narration na akma at tugma sa kung ano man ang nasa slides ninyo. Because there is what you call too much information if you keep talking too fast. And also one of the effects then if we keep talking too fast is baka hindi makuha ng ating mga estudyante as they will listen to our narration. Meanwhile, kung sobrang bagal naman, baka ma-board sila and hindi nila tapusin ang inyong PowerPoint narration or PowerPoint presentation with your narration. So, keep a stable pacing. Tama lang, wag masyadong mabagal, wag din masyadong mabilis. And the third best practice that I can give you is, eto, prepare your script to manage time. So, for some of us na challenge in terms of time management when we're delivering lectures kasi nasasarapan tayo sa pagsasalita, no? Marami tayong gustong sabihin. It may help really to prepare your script. Or if hindi man script, you can prepare a topic outline or just an outline of what you want to discuss, specifically discuss while you are delivering your narration. That way, hindi masyadong mahaba yung inyong narration na part, and then it will also help the students to only capture or get the information that you want them to learn. Okay? Because after all, meron ding other areas or other times to share stories, a lot of stories, other than the PowerPoint. So those are the best practices in narration. So we've covered how to add narration. This time, the second useful to do and how we can involve ourselves as instructors is eto, adding live subtitles to our PowerPoint presentation. There is basically a mention of live subtitles. Ibig sabihin, as you begin talking, subtitles will show or will appear on the PowerPoint presentation. And I will teach you how to do it or how to apply or how to have live subtitles in your PowerPoint presentation. So here is how you do it. The first step is, again, make sure na final na inyong material, and then you click the slideshow ribbon. Still the same things that we've done in the adding narration part. You still click the slideshow ribbon, but the next part is, and once you're already in the slideshow ribbon, sa pinakadulong part, lalabas si always use subtitles na option. Now, what should we do? We need to toggle it we need to mark it as checked para lalabas or ma-enable yung live subtitles in our PowerPoint presentation. So, you just, if hindi pa siya naka-check, make sure na na-check niyo siya sa inyong PowerPoint. The fourth step that we need to do is, you click the one below the always use subtitle na option. Then as you click that drop-down menu or drop-down option, lalabas yung tatlong subdivisions na ito. So the first subdivision is the language part. Dito ka pipili ng language that you want for your subtitles. Spoken language, would you like straight English? And then the subtitle language. What language would you like your narration to be translated into? That's actually possible on PowerPoint. And the good thing about this one is there are over 60 available languages that we can use on PowerPoint for our live subtitles. So that's that's the plethora or a myriad of languages, friends, that we can surely choose from. Now, if we have already chosen the language that we want, now we have to make sure that our microphones are working. So if to know that if our microphones are working, this should have already manifested in your narration part. Kasi otherwise, kung hindi naman naka-enable yung microphone ninyo on PowerPoint, then hindi din magre-record si PowerPoint. So how do you enable your microphone? You have to go to your system preference or sa inyong accessibility or settings on your computer and go to microphone part, audio or audio part or speakers part, and then you have to navigate through the applications that use microphone, and then if hindi pa nakalagay or naka-enable si Microsoft PowerPoint for microphone, then you have to enable it para mangyari ang recording and then subtitling. Okay? And then, The next part is eto, the placement of your subtitles. So, ang ibig sabihin nito is, where do you want the subtitles to appear? Would you like it in the bottom part? Or would you like it sa taas? Would you like sa below, sa baba ng slide? Or would you like sa taas mismo ng slide? You choose. So that depends on how you guys want it to appear. Okay? So once you've already configured these settings, now you are ready to test it if the subtitle is working. So let's say that you've already done the narration part, nakapag-narrate ka na, and then gusto mong i-test kung nagwo-work talaga ang subtitle. You click play from the start or click play from the current slide, and then as you click it, lalabas ito. Lalabas yung slide na gusto mong i-play. And then, as soon as your computer or as Microsoft PowerPoint recognizes a noise or a sound, then, or a word at least, then the subtitle should appear as you begin talking or as it begins hearing something. So the one in red, naka-box in red sa ibaba, yan yung subtitles, and that it shows that it's working in my case. So the word subtitles should now begin are the words that I have uttered, and then yun yung lumabas as live subtitles. So that's how easy actually to add live subtitles for your PowerPoint presentations. Okay? And the next one is eto. So in a nutshell, here's how it is done. So you may take again a screenshot of this one for this to serve as your guide later on. So you do the things that we've previously mentioned, and again, still save it as PowerPoint show para hindi siya ma-edit ng ating mga estudyante once we distribute it to them for asynchronous learning or self-paced learning. Okay? The next one is kung meron tayong best practices in adding narration, of course, meron din tayong best practices in live subtitle. The first is still, I will always suggest this one, to keep a stable pacing. Never too slow, never too fast. Because kung sobrang bilis in the aspect of live subtitling, kung sobra pong bilis ng ating chances are baka hindi makuha ni Microsoft PowerPoint yung pag-subtitle sa ating mga sinasabi. And chances are magiging fragments, or meaning to say magiging putol in Bisaya yung ating sentences. So you have to really keep a stable pacing. Okay? The second best practice is enunciate the words properly. Do not over-pronounce it or over-enunciate it, but just the right way to pronounce it. Because kung hindi po klaro yung ating pagkaka-pronounce, baka hindi tama yung word na mare-register as subtitle. So we really have to pronounce words properly and as accurately as possible. But don't worry, this is non-discriminatory, okay? The third point is, this is one of the things that I want you to remember if you want to do live subtitling, love tuloy. When you do code switching, be careful when to do it, because here's the thing. I want to share this with you, no, na Microsoft PowerPoint does not, unfortunately, recognize Cebuano as a language for subtitling. So what if we keep, if magbibisaya tayo all the time, chances are yung subtitle na lalabas katawa-tawa because parang hindi tama yung lalabas. Microsoft will translate the words we speak as subtitles into the closest that it has in its system or artificial intelligence. So if as much as possible, kung gagamit ka po ng subtitles, if you can use straight English, then do it para hindi siya hindi siya kataonon bitaw for our students once they see our subtitles. So those are 3 best practices when we do or when we add live subtitle into our presentation. So we've covered already, ang bilis no, we've covered already adding narration and adding live subtitles. And now for the last part, let's discuss or let's go into details. Ito the more exciting part. We're in how do we video record ourselves delivering our presentation using Zoom. Why? What's the rationale why I suggest Zoom? You can actually record yourselves or yourself delivering your lecture within PowerPoint, but baka mag-require siya ng higher specs or mag-require siya ng higher memory and baka hindi ma-meet ng inyong laptop requirement, ng inyong laptop ang requirements to do that. Kasi as I have tried it, kailangan mo pang mag-install ng add-ins, kailangan mo pang mag-install ng Camtasia, and Camtasia sometimes may bayad. That's why I am suggesting an easier resort for all of us to easily do moving forward. So we'll teach you or we'll learn how we can video record our presentation na makikita yung ating mga sarili while we are discussing. And we'll do that using Zoom. So the first step, again and again, is, of course, finalize your material. Kasi kung wala ka namang material na ipipresent, then what's the purpose? Diba? Then once you're ready, go to www.zoom.com and then this screen or this screenshot should appear. Dapat lalabas siya, okay? And then this is actually better, friends, to do it using a laptop para makita nyo yung full functionality of the Zoom platform. Okay, once you're already there, you have to sign in if you already have an account. But if you do not have an account yet, you can sign in. You can use your own personal email or your university's or college's email service. Okay, so you have to sign in or sign up. Now, once you're already there, you have to host a meeting. Hosting a meeting does not necessarily mean, friends, na meron dapat kasali sa call. Because for the purpose of just recording our presentation with us on screen, then we can host a meeting na tayo lamang at walang participant na nandun sa room. Okay? So, and then once you click that drop-down host meeting option, you have to choose from the three with video on kasi yung after all, gusto mong lalabas yung mukha mo while you are delivering your lecture, di ba? So that's it. And then the next is this one. Once the system dialog prompts, you click the open Zoom. So ito yung tinatawag na redirecting button because you cannot perform calls within the platform, as a website, but merong lalabas na separate dialog box or separate screen for the call mismo. So you just have to click openzoom.us and then this will lead you to this screen. So you then have to enable your audio para marinig ka. And then enable, of course, your camera. Ito yung tinatawag natin kanina sa active learning strategy na be visible. You have to show yourself, show your, be heard and be seen as you are delivering your online lectures or discussions. So enable all your computer audio and turn on your video camera. And then the next part is you click the record button. So recording button is basically gusto mo nang ma-record lahat ng iyong sinasabi or lahat ng inyong movement on camera or yes, anything that you say you want to be recorded. And then now, for example, you do, hi, good morning class. Welcome to our lecture for today. Today, I will talk about broadcasting. So, ganun. So, yun yung first frame mo. Now, if you now want to share your screen, kasi nga magle-lecture ka, di ba? You then have to share you have to click the share screen feature. If you click the share screen feature, it's very evident kasi color green lagi yan siya sa Zoom. And then once you click that arrow up, lalabas yung option na ito. You then have to choose the window of the screen that you want to be shared. So of course, hanapin mo yung or you share screen mo yung presentation mo on PowerPoint. So if say that you've already shared your PowerPoint screen, ito naman yung lalabas. Here. So lalabas yung, in the left screenshot, lalabas na yung slide mo, and then lalabas na rin yung mukha mo. So that you can now begin talking as you are navigating through your slides. And then Zoom will tell you that it is recording. There's also an option to stop share or to pause recording if you want to, if you want to redo or re-author a line, kasi baka you miss a point or two. That's actually a possible thing to do. Okay? And then, if you're done, tapos ka na mag-record sa yung lecture, you have to click the ellipsis na part. You have to click yung tatlong buttons or tatlong periods, and then you stop recording and end meeting. Okay, let's go back to this part, by the way. See, step 8 and 9, they are interchangeable. You can share your screen first before you record para wala kang dead air, for example. But nevertheless, ano yan, para bang you can really perform or proceed as you like or as you will. Okay, so those basically are the steps on how to video record ourselves delivering our lecture. Sobrang bilis, sobrang dali, and very, ano siya, parang it's our disposal. You just have to have a laptop, your presentation, and of course, an internet connection. Now, kung meron tayong best practices in narration, in subtitling, of course, meron din tayong best practices in video lecturing. So the first best practice that I can give you is record with perfect lighting against a plain background. Ibig sabihin, yung light should be directed sa inyong mga mukha. Diba? The light should come from the front, not sa likod, hindi sa gilid, not anywhere else. Kasi kung dito sa taas, mag-create siya ng shadow. So magkakaroon ka ng eye bags sa screen. Kung dito naman sa gilid, yung shadow will be yourself. Lalabas dito. So as you move, yung shadow mag-move din. And that will be a distraction. So make sure that light is perfect and your face is properly illuminated. And then this is my suggestion, record against a plain background like the one that I'm using. This is a plain background because if magre-record ka na may tao sa likod mo, may movement sa likod mo, chances are they will be a distraction to your audience. Hindi naman ito talk show na kailangan merong mga tanim-tanim sa likod, may aquarium sa likod, may family picture sa likod. We want the learning to be direct and to be conducive. And how do we do that? Avoid distractions sa likod. Kasi kung may tao sa likod, while you're talking, your students will focus sa tao sa likod. And we don't want that. The last thing we want once we are delivering our lecture is for our students to lose attention while we are delivering our lecture because of the distractions sa ating background. So, record with perfect lighting and against a plain background, friends. So, remember that, okay? The second tip that I can give you is ensure eye-level camera. So, dapat yung camera natin, eye-level. Hindi yung ganito, sobrang ganyan. Hindi din yung sobrang ganito na naputol yung forehead natin. Okay? Remember the rule of doing a video presentation. Don't murder yourself on screen. Don't cut your forehead, your ulo. So just enough. Magkaroon ka ng ito yung tinatawag, the space from my head at sa bottom part or sa top part, this is what you call the headroom. Okay? So you have to have a headroom for your presentation. Hindi rin sobrang yung mukha mo lang yung makikita, but just enough. Okay? So yun yung best practice that I can give you. The third one is to smile. Smile, it costs nothing to smile. Smile is the first inviting element once we are doing an online delivery or online lecture. Smile. That's your greatest possession. And then be conversational. Wag sobrang formal na, wag ganito na, okay class, good morning, are you ready for a lecture? No, wag ganon. Be conversational, share stories, and then crack jokes if you want, and then be enthusiastic. Ibig sabihin, if you feel the need to really use your hands to elaborate something, to use your gestures to elaborate something, then do it. Wag sobrang stiff na ganito, wag sobrang bako na nakaganito, and also stand straight. Standing straight will establish your credibility as the lecturer or as their teacher. So stand straight. Kasi if in the old normal, nagme-makeup tayo, nagbibihis tayo, you can also do that. You can mag-attire ka, mag-makeup ka if you want. There's no harm in doing the things that you've grown accustomed to in the old normal. So smile, be conversational, and be enthusiastic. Be excited because your students will thank you later on for doing so. Okay, so pretty much we've covered the three PowerPoint to-dos and how we can better involve ourselves in our presentation. We've covered adding narration, adding live subtitles, and video recording with our presentation using the Zoom platform. So that's para bang very easy siya to do, and I hope you can I hope you took notes, no, of what we have mentioned earlier, because surely there will be of great help sa inyo moving forward in the new normal of teaching and learning. So for this part naman, we'll talk about another thing that we also need to remember, because kung we've already talked about PowerPoint, now let's remember the principles to observe when making PowerPoint presentations. So the rationale here is that we want our students to understand better. We want to facilitate understanding better, more effectively, and more conducively, and more directly. And then here are basically the principles that we need to remember, to observe, and to apply when making PowerPoint presentations. So the first principle that I want us to remember and to apply is ito. According to Clark and Mayer in 2011, through their multimedia learning principles, one of the principles that we need to remember once we're making multimedia materials, one of which is a PowerPoint presentation, is the coherence principle. Anong ibig sabihin ng coherence principle? It believes na yung mga estudyante natin, mas madali silang matututo if the pictures, the graphics, the animations na kanilang nakikita sa ating presentation ay akma at tugma at kinakailangan sa ating topic. Ibig sabihin, we need to remove the elements that are unnecessary and not applicable. So for example, kung ang topic ninyo ay about chemistry, or your subject is about chemistry, so you'll talk about compound reaction. Of course, yung elements na lalabas sa presentation mo should do something with chemistry. Hindi ka maglalagay ng bola, ng musical instruments, and all those unnecessary things. So that's an application of coherence principle. We only use and incorporate the elements that are necessary and applicable sa ating presentation or topic. So that's very easy to remember, di ba? Number 2 is signaling principle. Anong ibig sabihin ng signaling principle? Our students learn better if merong cues or signals that guide their attention to the data and elements. Ano yung application nito? This is the application of animation and transition. So, if our eyes see a movement that actually signals us something. So, that's an application that every time you present a data, you may choose not to present them all at once and choose to present them as you pronounce or as you discuss them one by one. So it's actually an option for you, but just make sure na mayroong signal or cues. The signals and cues can also be verbal. For example, you say the transition words like next slide, next point, after this one, before that one. So these actually are signal words, or yes, the transition words that correspond to the signaling principle as a multimedia learning that we need to remember and apply. Okay, the third one is the spatial contiguity principle. Anong ibig sabihin nito? It means that our students, mas madali silang matuto if ang mga pictures at mga salita are placed near each other in the screen. So, ibig sabihin, if meron kang picture ng cloud, so for example, nilagay mo yung picture ng cloud in the left side of your screen, of your PowerPoint screen or slide, of course, dapat yung word na cloud lalabas sa ibaba or malapit sa picture kung saan mo siya nilagay. Hindi pwedeng yung picture mo nandito, tsaka yung word mo na cloud nandito. Sobrang layo. That would create a disconnect. And the worst part, pagtatawanan tayo ng ating mga estudyante once they see it. Okay? The next is, the fourth one is the temporal contiguity principle. Very easy to understand. Ating mga estudyante, mas madali silang matututo if the words and pictures are presented simultaneously, not successively. Ibig sabihin, it really helps if, as we mention things, lalabas din siya. Diba? Never too late, never too low. So for example, dito na ipapasok yung elements of transitions and animations in PowerPoint na every time you mention a word, dapat makikita na siya sa screen. Kasi merong chances and tendency na sinasabi na natin yung point na ito, pero hindi pa natin na-click yung next at hindi pa siya lumalabas. So mag-create siya ng confusion for our students na anong part na ba yung pinagsasabi ni ma'am or ni sir. So make sure that the timing is perfect as you pronounce or discuss something. Dapat may makita din ang mga estudyante natin. Okay? The fifth element or principle rather, eto, multimedia principle. Yung mga estudyante natin, mas madali silang matututo if words and pictures, if there is a use of words and pictures rather than words alone. Ito talaga yung gusto kong matandaan ninyo. Huwag na huwag kayong maglagay ng all text lamang sa slides. Make sure na merong picture or merong visual element sa inyong slide. And then because many students pet peeve na nila ang all text slide. So later on, I will show you how to avoid placing all text in a particular slide. Okay? So the next one is personalization principle. Ibig sabihin, students learn better if content is delivered in a conversational type rather than formal. So wag kang yung tipong you're too formal, you're too stiff, that you're not friendly in manner, that you are like robotic. Wag po, be conversational and be friendly as you deliver your presentation. The seventh is the voice principle. Students learn better if maririnig nila yung boses natin at hindi yung machine. Kaya I really discourage using computer audios or Google Voice to pronounce or to say something on our behalf. Might as well use our voice to announce or discuss something. Because hindi naman robot yung mga estudyante natin. So hindi din dapat robot yung magiging tool natin to aid their understanding. So those basically are the 7 guide principles for us educators on how we can better, create our presentations more effectively. So coherence, signaling, spatial contiguity, temporal contiguity, multimedia, personalization, and voice principle. And it's very important na moving forward, i-apply natin sila para mas effective ang ating presentation. Okay, mahaba-haba na pinag-usapan natin. No? Let's take a break. Let's interact again. Get your phones and your laptop. Now let's have the last interaction part. I want you again to go to menti.com and then use the new code, and then I want you to say something about this sample slide that you are seeing on screen. So get your phone, use the menti.com, and again, I'll give you 2 minutes for this, and yes, 2 minutes for this, and to say something about this sample slide. So this is the last part for us to interact. I hope you guys participate para malaman ko what you guys think about the sample slide that I am showing on screen. Okay, so let's see then your responses as they are coming. Okay, so let's see. So get your phones and then do participate in this interactive activity, which you can also use, by the way, once you're delivering your slides later on, moving forward. Okay, so now let's see some of your responses as we discuss about the last part of my presentation, which is on the specifics of a slide. So, tignan natin. Okay, wait. So, just keep your responses coming, by the way, and then we'll get to know what you guys think and what you guys have to say about, the sample slide that I am showing. So, yes, that one. So, you can see in the slide part, what can you say about this sample slide? So the timer is the timer is running, so I have 2 minutes for that. Okay, so just keep your responses coming. It doesn't need to be very long, ha? Meron na tayong responses. And then let's see. Okay, some say that it is wordy. Okay, some say that there is subtitle. Some say that it's chaotic, unreadable, that there's too much text. Some say that the text could hardly be read. Some say that it's wordy, texts are too small, not readable, inappropriate for class activity, unreadable, not effective. Now let's see, non-readable, wordy, unclear, a river of life, very literal, no? Thank you for that. Very wordy, not readable, contrast is not clear, too many words, wordy, small world. It's not a good presentation, not effective, and not efficient. Text is small, didn't follow 7 times 7 rule. The background overpowers the text, too much text, and so on and so forth. Thank you so much for your responses. I think, friends, we all can agree that the sample slide that I have shown actually is, less of an effective slide. Because, sa sinabi nyo, it's not readable, the contrast is bad, and, hindi talaga mababasa, and it's very texty. Sobrang aantokin at hindi babasahin yung slide na yan ng ating mga estudyante. So that's one thing that you guys need to avoid. Okay, so now, we've pretty much basically discussed about the principles. Now, I'm teaching you, this is the last part of my presentation, how we can make rockstar presentation or PowerPoint, PowerPoint presentations for Gen Z. Take note of the emphasis Gen Z, because we need to understand that after all, as higher education institution educators, we're handling or we're working with the Gen Z students. And here are the things that would truly help us in making PowerPoint presentations rockstar and effective for Gen Z. And with that, I have prepared this video for all of us to see or to watch, and I hope that you take notes and learn from this video. There was a time in 2017 when I was giving a lecture for my students. They weren't listening. They were just talking with each other. They were taking pictures of my slides, and they were not attentive. And something I realized was wrong. It was my PowerPoint presentation. It was texty, it was busy, complicated, and worse, it was boring. Then I realized that I needed to step up my game, and things have never been the same way again. Hi, my name is Marvin, and today I share with you the very things that I have been doing for the past 2 years in making rockstar presentations for Gen Z, which I have summarized into 10 tips, and I hope you'll be able to journey with me as we go along. The first question we should be asking ourselves once we're making a PowerPoint presentation is, who is our audience? Who are we making the PowerPoint presentations for? For this matter, we're making presentations for the Gen Z students. Who are they? They are tech-savvy students. They have an eye for design, keen attention to details, and a taste for aesthetics. And it is very important that we consider who our audiences are so that we get to meet halfway with their expectations from us. And then you're ready to begin. The first step that I can give you is to keep your PowerPoint presentation simple. It does not mean that it should only be black and white, that it should not have any color. In fact, a simple presentation means it's not text heavy, it's not busy, it's not complicated. It's not like this, but something like this. We should not be compelled to fill every white space in our presentation. In fact, it is even better that our presentation should have more negative space and not fill them with any unnecessary logos or elements that actually do not contribute to our main topic. Number 2 is to limit our use of bullet points and text. It's not something like this because using a lot of text will just induce our students to sleeping. It should not have a lot of text because our students will just remember everything that they read. But something like this, few lines or few sentences, in fact, one sentence is better for one slide, and we do all the talking. So this slide is better, but this one is best. As teachers, we need to do all the talking more than our students will do the reading and the picture taking of what they see on our slides. In fact, it saves us time because we won't anymore have to place every text from the book, but in fact, we do all the talking so that they will look at us more than they will look at our presentations. The third one is to limit the use of animations and transitions. We have the tendency to animate our presentation to the point that we get to overdo it. That's not a good thing to do, guys. In fact, once we incorporate transitions and animations, we have to remember the ones that are used on a TV news broadcast. If our transitions do not even resemble like that, then we need to redo it. The goal is to make it easy for our students to look at our presentation by still incorporating the element of the animation. If you go to the interface of the Microsoft presentation, you will see the transition and the animations ribbon. And there you'll see the plethora of animations and transitions that you can use. But the goal is to not use every animation possible in every slide because our students will just laugh about it. So not something like this, the transition, nor something like this, na animation, but something like this. So a good left to right wipe or even a fade will already do because our students will appreciate it that there is a smooth flow of point from one to the other, from one slide to the next. The fourth tip is to use high quality graphics. Never use a very pixelated image, but use one that is of high quality, high resolution so that our students will appreciate that image as a complement to what we're talking about. The next thing is once we are adjusting the size of an image in our PowerPoint presentation, chances are we get to adjust it the wrong way. But you know the better one or the best one to do it is before we adjust the picture, we press Control plus Shift and adjust it. That way, the picture gets adjusted without compromising the original quality of the image. Fifth, have a visual theme. A visual theme will tell our students that there is consistency and that it is very evident. The rule is I do not suggest using PowerPoint templates because, come on, everybody has just seen it. Our students will have the impression if we use PowerPoint templates that our presentation is prepackaged and it's formulaic. In fact, my suggestion is to go to www.slidesgo.com for a myriad of templates and themes that we can use for free. Number 6 is to use the appropriate charts. If you go to the Microsoft interface and you click Insert, you'll find the option or the feature where you can add charts. But we should be asking ourselves, how much data do I need? How much data do I need to present? And we need to sparingly and judiciously decide what type of chart should we use. Remember, right chart for the right information aids for a better learning and understanding for our students. Number 7 is to use color very well. Colors are emotional. They evoke emotions and feelings. And in fact, they persuade or dissuade our students to understand or learning something better that we are talking about. We need to use the right colors to make sure that it is easy and pleasing for the eye and understand that it contributes to general learning according to color psychology. So the rule is, once you have a light background, your text should be dark. If you have a dark colored background, your text should be light. So not something like this, but something like this. Not this either, but this one. So the rule is, you only change the color of a word in a particular sentence or line if you want to emphasize something. Not more than 3 colors in a line or sentence because it would look like a rainbow and our students will just laugh about it. Number 8 is to choose the right fonts. There are only 2 types of fonts that we need to remember: the sans serif fonts and the serif fonts. Serif stems from the Greek word tail, so these fonts are Helvetica, Times New Roman. Meanwhile, sans serif fonts, meaning no tail, are the ones that are usually bold and are very dominant. So the rule is use sans serif fonts for headings and titles. Meanwhile, use serif fonts for body text. That way, it is easy for our students to determine which ones are more important from the others. But please don't use fonts that are very fancy, like Jokerman or Chiller or Cursive, because our students won't just appreciate them anyway. So be careful in choosing the right font. Number 9 is to use audio or video. This does not mean that we need to use other software to play a video or an audio. In fact, we can incorporate one in our presentation itself. Just go to the ribbon and find insert, and in the rightmost, you can find the audio and video and insert whatever you have to present that aids in the learning delivery for your students. And the last point is to do it passionately. Remember, we're doing it for the students who will become the next leaders of our generation. The better they understand, the better persons they will eventually become. So do it passionately and with a purpose. With all of these, we need to remember that creating rockstar presentation for Gen Z is fundamentally principle-based. What should we do? What should we do not? It is also audience-based. Who are we making it for? What are they like? And lastly, it is creativity-based. Let's go out of the box. Let's think of things that we have never thought of before. And let's keep extracting our creative juices. And more than anything else, creating rockstar presentation is always a learning journey. And I hope we make it count. Thank you so much for journeying with me in making rockstar presentations for Gen Z. So there you have it. We've pretty much covered the tips that I can give you in terms of making rockstar presentations for Gen Z. So let's just have a recap, no, for some of us who may have missed a point or two. So let's just have a recap. Number one is to really get to know your audience. Who are you making the PowerPoint for? The Gen Z. And very keen to detail. So avoid para bang iwasan natin na pagtawanan nila tayo. So always put our audience in mind because they are the center of learning. First step is keep it simple. Not so many colors. In fact, there's beauty in space. You should not be compelled to fill every blank space with something. In fact, the more white space or the more blanks or negative space, the better po. Kasi it would depict elegance and beauty there. Number two is to limit bullet points and text. Again, never place all text or all bullet points in a slide because there are always better ways to present them. And always use the notes pane because it's your guide there. The third point is limit transitions and animation. So not something like this. Again, dili ingon ana, but something like this. So a good fade is okay, left to right na swipe is okay. Ayaw gin mo paggamit og mga vortex or mga bounce. Never ever, it's a big no-no to use all these fancy na animations. The fourth, use high quality graphics. Never use blurry image, but instead use the ones that are very clear and of high quality. So just to give you a short tip or a small tip, if you want to adjust the size of an image, you have to press Control plus Shift first, and then you drag the rasterized tools or the adjustment size para dili ma-compromise ang quality and dili siya ma-pixelate as you adjust the image. The fifth is have a visual theme. Make sure that your theme is evident and that your students can acknowledge it because you cannot just mix everything all at once. You cannot have a theme for balls in slide number 1. Slide number 2 talks about trees. Slide number 4 has the elements of biology and animals. No, you have to have a unifying visual theme. And also if you can avoid PowerPoint templates, please avoid them because your students will tell na, hello, hindi naman nag-effort si ma'am para maghanap ng ibang themes, di ba? Gamit na po yan, palasak na po ang mga templates in PowerPoint, so never use them, I suggest, if you want to step up your game. Number 6, use appropriate charts. 7, use color well. So if you have a light background, your text should be dark. So not something like this, but something like this. So that's a very good thing to remember and practice para po mas klaro ang ating text. Number 8, okay, before pala dyan, wag pong gawing rainbow ang inyong mga presentation. Wag po maraming colors in one slide, okay? So if number 1 is yellow, number 2 is blue, number 3 is red, no, that's a big no-no. Pagtatawanan po tayo ng ating estudyante, magmumukhang rainbow ang ating PowerPoint. So if we want to change color, we have to make sure that we do so to emphasize something. So we only change colors to emphasize a word or two. And then, number 8 is gamit tayo ng right font. So, my suggestion kanina, never use fancy fonts like Chiller, Cursive, Algerian, dahil hindi naman po ito scrapbook. Di ba? Hindi naman po mga bata yung ating mga estudyante. These are growing individuals, so they would appreciate formality at all costs and in all forms. Number 9 is use video. Huwag pong mahiyang gumamit ng video from the internet, but just cite them properly and well. And then like what I did, I attached a video, so hindi ko na kinailangang mag-play pa from my computer because you can easily attach a picture or video into your PowerPoint presentation. And then before we proceed to the last point, my additional tips po ako for you that I hope you can remember. The extra tip is be visual. Appeal to the visual element of our students because some of our students learn better if they see something rather than just read something. So appeal to the eye, okay? And go minimal. Why do I suggest this? Because there's a growing trend in among the youngsters today, the Gen Z, for minimalism. So my friends on Facebook share content like houses that are minimal, designs that are minimal, and I'm sure that holds the same for PowerPoint presentation. Go minimal, the simpler, the better, because there's a difference between boring and minimal. So choose minimalism over boringness. And the last point, do it passionately, guys. Don't be afraid to explore and put your heart into making your PowerPoint presentation because we're making it for the leaders of tomorrow. And if we don't do our best part today, then who will? If we don't take part for them, then who will? So let's do our part and do it passionately and purposively. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it. We've covered all the things in my presentation. And before I end, no, I actually have prepared frequently asked questions that I'm sure makaka-relate po tayong lahat. These are questions from higher education institution faculty, and I'm sure these are relatable. Some of you may have the same questions, so I'll just go over this fast. So what are the basic parts of a PowerPoint lecture presentation? It should have a title slide, guys, objectives or outline slide, content slides, your major point or takeaway message slide. If you want a closing statement, you can do so, and your references or thank you slide. So it's actually minimum of 5, but you can have 7 parts if you want. Okay? So number 2 is how to make presentation more lively and creative. Be visual. Never use chunks of text, and gamit po tayo ng colors na magbibigay saya at magbibigay ngiti sa ating mga estudyante at ningning sa mga mata. Okay? So wag masyadong gumamit ng black themes, okay? Kasi baka iba yung connotation ng ating mga estudyante. The third is, how does it require heavy data to be shown? Never. I do not suggest. PowerPoint slides are just our visual aids. Tayo po, mga guro, ang nagpapatakbo ng show, hindi po. So we have to make it a point that technology will be our servant, not us, the servants of technology. So do not place all information on the slides because we need to do the talking more than our students will do the reading, the note-taking, and the picture-taking of what they see on the slides. Okay, how to make a PowerPoint file. I mean, a PowerPoint without the file making very big. Kasi, di ba, if sinabi ko that we use high-quality graphics, so it entails na yung memory mas mabigat din or mas malaki. So the tip is to compress the pictures or videos and or the file itself. How do you compress? So to compress a photo, click niyo yung photo, and then punta kayo sa ribbon na lalabas as you click the photo. It's actually called picture format. And then merong option doon, hanapin niyo yung compress photo, and then as you click the drop down, lalabas yung options on how you want to compress the photo. Would you like to compress it higher or lower? Remember that you're seeing PPI. PPI stands for pixel per inch. So the higher the pixel per inch, the heavier it is in terms of memory size. Okay, so that's how you compress and lower its memory. Now to compress the file, please go to ucompress.com or wecompress.com. be inserted as JPEG pa rin on PowerPoint. So the memory has not changed for that matter. So what are the tools other or platforms outside from PowerPoint? You can try Prezi. Just go to prezi.com and it's actually exciting then. Pero for me, bias ko talaga is Microsoft PowerPoint. What's the best practice in animating PowerPoint presentation? Simple. Huwag po gumamit ng more than 2 animation types kasi po hindi po tayo nagkakaroon ng carousel or circus na maraming movement. And you make sure na yung movements or yung transitions and animations are very smooth for the eye. So a fade will do or swipe left to right will already do. Use GIFs but the appropriate ones. GIFs make sure that they are clear and that the movement is relative and applicable sa iyong topic. Wag po magumamit ng for the sake of using GIFs, kahit ano na lang nilagay mo, wag po, that's a big no-no. Make sure na appropriate lamang po ang ating GIFs. And avoid built-in clip arts kasi magkakaroon ng impression ng estudyante na hindi na naman nag-effort si sir or si ma'am na simple search on Google hindi magawa. So avoid built-in clip arts. Be resourceful. Hanap tayo sa internet, okay? 7th, what is another alternative to Zoom in video recording presentation? Google Meet, same functionality. You start a call just by yourself, you share your screen, and record the meeting. Now, how do you plan the timing of elements in PPT? Ideally, text and other elements dapat should appear the moment you mention them. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na principle in multimedia na dapat, as you mention some things, dapat may makita rin ang ating mga estudyante. Never too late, never too early. Number 9, how do you make amazing PPT in a short time? Kasi diba in the online learning, marami tayong ginagawa. So wala na tayong time na talaga sobrang effort. So my suggestion is, gamit tayo ng PowerPoint templates available online. Go to the following slides, take a screenshot of this slide, or take note, write the website, and then it houses all the templates that are free of charge. So an example is the slides go, this is how it looks like in terms sa kanilang website. There's a lot of templates na pwede ninyong gamitin that would make your PowerPoint presentation more branded, yung theme is more established, more exciting, and of course, more engaging. The number 10th is animation helpful or distraction for Gen Z? My answer is simple. Know your audience. Kung sino yung audience mo, doon ka makakapagsimula. For Gen Z, the simpler and more consistent the design, the better po. Okay? Huwag masyadong, don't complicate your presentation para ma-appreciate ng ating mga estudyante. Because the heart of our presentation are the data that we present, not solely the presentation and how we, although it actually adds up to the value, but again, let's not make ourselves the servant of technology, but let's use the technology our servants. We run the show, not the other way around. Number 11 out of 15, I don't know how to design icons or avatars. Are there free, ready-to-use graphics? Okay, the answer is yes, marami po. Go to the following slides para makakuha ng free graphics or icons. Kung gusto mo ng tao na nagsasalita, meron po sa mga website na ito. You really just have to be resourceful and creative. Na wag gumamit ng clip arts na gamit na. Gamit ka ng bago na hindi pa nakikita ng inyong mga estudyante. Always have something fresh offered on the table. And how do you do that? By being resourceful. And these websites that you're seeing on screen, you can go to and visit para makakuha ng free graphics or icons. Number 12, how do you make amazing PPT in a short time? Ito na yung sinasabi ko kanina ulit lang. Sir, what is the ideal number of slides for a PowerPoint presentation? My answer is it depends on how many minutes you intend to talk and on the complexity of your topic or discussion. So depende yan siya. If you talk for 2 hours or less or 1 hour, and then your style of speaking, then do you want to, para bang more things to be shown or more words to be uttered by you? But actually there's a rule, it's called Kawasaki rule. It's 10, 20, 30. So it says na your slide should only be 20 in number and it should only take you 10 minutes to present it, and the font size should be 30 points. But that is best applicable in the old normal if you are delivering short inspirational talks. But for lecture types like ganito, for teachers, it may not apply. So it still depends on how many minutes you intend to talk and on your topic. How to insert a formula in PPT. So this is for our friends who deal with numbers, for those in engineering, in mathematics, and all those that deal with numbers. Kasi ako, I don't use this kasi I'm handling community broadcasting. So there's no use in numbers. So how do you do that? Just go to insert ribbon in PowerPoint and go to insert and then you hanapin nyo yung equation na feature or option, and then doon kayo hanap na kayo nung formula na gusto nyo insert, and you can also create your own formula. And the last question that we have, what OS is needed? Okay, what OS is needed to operate Microsoft? Actually, you can use PowerPoint as long as your device can download it, but slower OS may crash PowerPoint from time to time, especially if you use high-resolution graphics. So check your PowerPoint software if kaya ba niyang higher memory on more graphics to be used. So time is 11:23 and I have few questions. Tignan natin, no? Let's see if we can answer them. How do you put the sounds on during my interactive activity? It's very simple. Kuha kayo ng music from from online or from Google, and then if you already have the favorite music, you insert it into your PowerPoint slide. And if you want to create an icon for it, like gaya ng speaker sa akin, you can do that. So just insert an icon or copy or from Google kung gusto kang yung icon na gusto mong i-insert ay nasa Google lamang. Insert it, and then as well as the audio. Do we need to mention the owners of the video or pictures while presenting? Well, it's optional, but most importantly, just don't fail to cite your references. But the better practice is you cite your reference at the end of the slide per information. You can also do that all at once in one slide at the bottom, pero baka hindi na siya mag-make sense. Baka magmukhang thesis, di ba? And we don't want that. So cite your sources per slide. What else? Why is sound always interrupt? For Zoom, how to avoid hackers? Well, this is a security issue. Just make sure that if you use Zoom, you will be although I have not encountered security issues in Zoom, but my guiding point or guiding principle is to really when I use Zoom, I only use it for the things that are safe, that are okay for me, and then not so confidential. Yun na lang. You can use Zoom for that. But nevertheless, you can use Google Meets, because I think our college or university servers for email use Google, and that's actually a feature or an advantage for us na meron ng Google. We have unlimited Google Drive storage, and we have free access to Google Meet. So you can use Google Meet for the same functionality. Okay, can we edit portion of the PowerPoint show? Yes, you can edit it, but you only edit it using the PowerPoint presentation version. Then once you're already final, you save it again as a PowerPoint show. Because once you've already saved it as PowerPoint show, hindi na siya ma-edit. It will appear as a show itself na nandoon yung narration mo. Okay, what version of Microsoft is used? I personally am using Microsoft 365. You can check the version of your Microsoft by going to File, and then About Microsoft or About PowerPoint. And then dun lalabas yung the software version of your PowerPoint. So again, File ribbon, and then hanapin nyo yung option na iyon. Okay, I think these are the only questions that are asked to me. But don't worry, later on after this presentation, I'll go over the questions that I may have missed. But this time, before I end, this is the last part. I really want us to engage, friends, and gusto ko na we can, for the last time, let's engage and let's play. Okay, are you ready to win? So let's play. The instruction is very simple. I will be flashing questions on screen. To answer, just type your answer using our comments section and hit send after my cue. So tingnan natin kung nakinig talaga kayo sa aking for 2-hour presentation ang haba, but very productive, very enjoyable. Now let's see if you guys are ready. So yung questions na lalabas ay from my presentation, and tignan natin kung nag-take note pa talaga kayo mga ma'am and sir across the region and even the Philippines. So the first question, 5 questions lamang ito. The first question is, meron pong 2 types of fonts. Sans serif and serif font, which has tails. Ano yung mayroong tails? You may key in your answer. Just type A if your answer is A. Type B if your answer is B. You may now key in your answer right now. So I'll give you 10 seconds to key in your answer and then let's see kung nakinig talaga kayo sa aking presentation. Go! Tignan natin, no? So let's see what the responses are. Okay. Some Bailon says B, JP says B, C says B, Kitty Valdez, hi Kitty, Rohaida says B, Ermalina says B. Okay, the correct answer is, tama po, letter B, sans serif font. Now let's see the winner. The correct answer is, wow, so the fifth correct answer will win. Tignan natin kung sino yung ikalima. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rohaida Sakmar Tabanao is our winner for the question number 1. Congratulations, ma'am. Yung prize po, love and prayers. Char lang. Love and prayers po yung prize natin for this. So the second question, light background should have dark colored text. A, dark colored text, or B, light colored text. You may now key in your answer in 3, 2, 1, go. 10 seconds. Tignan natin talaga kung nakinig talaga sila, no? Okay. Meron pang sumasagot sa question number ano. Remember, light background should have what? Dark colored text or light colored na text. Tignan natin kung ano yung mga sagot nila. Okay, okay. So let's see. Before we end, no, this is the last few parts of my slide. Okay, some say B, some say B. Okay. Okay, Reyniza says A. Joy Jimenez says B. Maria Guillen says A. Julie Mar says A. And now let's see the correct answer. The correct answer is letter A, dark colored text. And the seventh correct answer is our winner. Let's see kung sino ba. Okay. Tignan natin na quick ano, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fred Daliaba from Vineyard College. Congratulations. You won love and prayers for this activity. Okay. The third question is to change the size of an image without stretching it so much. Ano yung keyboard action na dapat nating i-perform? Is it Control plus Tab, Control plus Enter, or Control plus Shift? You may key in your answer in 3, 2, 1. Go. I will give you 10 seconds to do that. And now let's see kung sino yung nanalo for this third question out of 5. So tignan natin, no? So you have 10 seconds to do that. Okay, okay. Let's see kung nakinig talaga sila ma'am and sir or watching or streaming with us live on Facebook. We currently have 580 viewers. Hello, hello to all of you. Meron pong, okay. Now let's see the correct answer. The correct answer is letter C, Control plus Shift. Ito yung nakita nyo sa slide kanina. And the first correct answer will win. So our first correct answer is Laiheme Baro, Control plus Shift, or letter C yung sagot niya. Congratulations, Sir Laiheme. Nanalo ka po ng love and prayers. Okay, the fourth is students learn better when unnecessary elements are excluded. Ano yung tawag sa principle na ito? Is this multimedia principle? Is this coherence principle? Or is this spatial contiguity principle? Sagot nyo. Sagot nyo at aalamin ko. I will give you 10 seconds to do that. Key in your answers in 3, 2, 1, go! Okay, tignan natin no, kung nakinig talaga yung mga ma'am answer natin from the region para makita like how you guys are ready and excited for the new normal in learning and teaching. I think as you begin your classes, no, or you're still with your classes, tignan natin the correct answer. Tama po ba? Okay, wala pa. Wala pang nakakakuha ng tamang sagot. Tignan natin. Okay, okay. Okay, so now let's see the correct answer. The correct answer is, okay, wait. Eto, coherence principle, and the second correct answer is our winner. Tignan, the correct answer is letter B. And what? Okay, Angel Halyara Libres, congratulations po. You are our winner for this question. You won love and prayers in time of the coronavirus disease pandemic. Okay, and for the last question, eto, it houses the frequently used commands or tools in PowerPoint. Ano po yung tawag sa parang Microsoft function or part na iyan kung saan makikita natin yung frequently used commands or tools. So I'll give you 10 seconds to do it or to answer, and 3, 2, 1, go. Key in your answers in our comment section. We're also seeing answers from our live chat here in Zoom. James Ryan Roxa Ranyowa from SCC. Hello, sir. Okay, tignan natin. No, the correct answer for this last question is, tignan natin. Wala pa po. Tignan talaga natin kung sino yung mga nakinig. The correct answer is letter C, the quick access toolbar. So that's the correct answer for that. Wherein makikita natin sa quick access toolbar yung commands or tools that are frequently used on PowerPoint presentation. The fourth correct answer is our winner. Let's see sino yung nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Nakakuha po is si, sino ba? Si Eden Neri. Congratulations, Eden Neri. You are our winner for question number 5. You won love and prayers. Char lang. I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation. I hope it was engaging, and I thank you for your participation. And before I deliver or before I close, this is our workshop output for all of you. I mean, you may please participate, no? So workshop number 1, please take a screenshot of this one or take note. Using Zoom, gawa kayo ng sample course introduction. So dito gagamitin niyo yung Zoom, and then i-record niyo yung presentation niyo or record the call or meeting. And then re-share your screen using your Microsoft PowerPoint, using your 2-slide sample. Okay, so that's how easy to do it. You save it and then use attach it to your LMS. Okay, the workshop number 2 is PowerPoint with narration. Using PowerPoint, add kayo ng narration using your 2-slider deck. It should not exceed 3 minutes in length, and please save it as PowerPoint show. That's how easy it is. And the workshop number 3 is very connected to workshop number 2. PowerPoint with narration on subtitles. So incorporate na natin yung live subtitles into our presentation. So using your narrated PowerPoint, add kayo ng subtitle and then save it as PowerPoint show. So it's also encouraged that you seek help or seek consultation from your colleagues in your universities or colleges para mas maganda po yung output ninyo sa ating ReFLEX initiative. Of course, brought to us by the Commission on Higher Education Regional Office 10 and spearheaded by the consortium of this activity. Okay, and with that said, we've successfully covered the following: active learning strategies in online presentations, steps in video recording your slides, and adding subtitles and narrations. And last, the tips in creating effective or rockstar PowerPoint presentations for Gen Z. With that said, kung wala na po tayong questions, ako po ay lubos na nagpapasalamat for joining me for 2 hours as we did discuss about how we can create effective and better presentations in the online learning and making sure that understanding is best facilitated while engaging and interacting with our students online. This has been Marvin, and I would love to journey with you. If you need help or tips from me after this one, I would love to journey with you. Just contact with me. Remember, friends, colleagues in the academe, let's always make this count. We may be in an extraordinary time with extraordinary circumstances, but rest assured, we're all in this together. We learn as one, and we will come up stronger and more learned and better than before. Maraming salamat po, and enjoy the rest of your day. Back to
Thank
you,
you so
Ma.
much. Yes, thank you so much, Sir Marvin, for the very engaging presentation. We are driven by your energy and your liveliness, no, in the sa inyong presentation. So you made my work easy. I don't have to ask and read the questions. Yes, you have answered all the questions already. And also you have reminded our participants of their workshop output that they have to submit in our LMS. So if our participants would like to view again your presentation this morning, they can watch again the FB stream, which will be, of course, is recorded already. And sa YouTube, mamaya, our staff will post that in our YouTube. And of course, they can access that in our LMS. So please remember our LMS link for you to upload your workshop output and to view again the presentation of Sir Marvin. So maybe 1 second for appreciation kay Sir Marvin for this very energetic presentation and very informative presentation. So, Sir Marvin, lahat ng appreciation nila nandiyan na sa comment box. You just watch it. Thank you again for sharing your time and your expertise on engaging, very engaging presentation that our faculty can use this coming opening of classes. So in behalf of the Commission on Higher Education Region 10, in behalf of the technical working group and the members of the consortium, thank you very much. So love and prayers, everyone. Love and prayers, Sir Marvin. Keep healthy, keep safe, everyone. See you on Thursday for our next session. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.